guys, Hammerbeard here. How are you all feeling? Awesome. So recently, with all the stuff I've been listening to, like Alan Watts, Sam Harris, Terence McKenna, and some of the drugs I've been taking, hypothetical drugs, I've been absolutely obsessed with this whole idea of spirituality and the self. And spirituality is just one of those words, like so many other, that's just so broad and doesn't really describe what I'm talking about. So I mean, I'm not talking about like weird tantric stuff or, you know, like the Hare Krishna. You know what's funny with the Hare Krishna though? You know, there's always the one guy that's, you know, Hare Krishna. You can tell, you know, he's renounced the material world, but he's still got his Beyonce album. So I've been looking at this in more of like a Buddhist, maybe ancient Vedic approach, where you don't need to accept any crazy spiritual beliefs. It's just about introspection and seeking what the self is. The ancient Vedics had this practice called Vipassana, which in the modern terms we would call mindfulness meditation. And this is what I found to be the most effective thing we can do to start looking for this thing we call the self. If you haven't heard of mindfulness meditation, essentially what you're doing is, you know, you're sitting down, you're closing your eyes, and you just realise sensations as they arise. And the goal is eventually you start to realise thoughts just as sensations. And we notice it is incredibly funny how much we just chatter in our own minds. Like, just think about your average day. The amount you sort of talk to yourself. If you did this out loud, you would be considered crazy. Like, imagine a guy, you know, sitting at the BK, had a freaking Whopper or whatever, and this dude's like, oh shit, my keys. Oh, there's my keys. Oh, now I've got to go see Laura. Bitch better have my money. You would think they're crazy, yet this is exactly how we talk to ourselves. So what a lot of these ancient spiritual traditions are trying to do is just get us to examine the contents of our own mind and get some insightful insights. God, I can't think of a better way to phrase that, and I'm not talking about, you know, the kind of crap you see by some girls on Facebook like, but I mean genuine insight about your own mind. If you just look enough, it is interesting how much, you know, you can see the character of your own mind. So let me take you through some mindfulness meditation. Close your eyes. Breathe in. And out. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. It's fucking ridiculous. Oh, does that music just not make you want to like run off to the Andes and join a pack of freaking llamas? Does it? Like, that's what I'm feeling. But back on topic, I will sort of talk through what you do in mindfulness. You want to sit down, don't lie down because you'll fall asleep, trust me. So sit down in a comfortable position and first, you know, close your eyes and just take deep breaths. Breathe naturally, don't force it. And what you were trying to do is first just notice sensations. So you might want to notice the pressure, you know, on the chair you're sitting on, or maybe the heat. As you do that, work towards things like just notice the sounds around you, the smells, and how everything feels. And you just want to notice it and let it pass. You don't want to be constantly thinking about it. And the more you do this, you need to start realizing what your brain is doing, what you're thinking, and just realize thoughts as they arise. Now this is incredibly hard to do, but I promise it is in the reach of everyone if you do enough practice. Now what we learn from doing this, when you start to glimpse, you know, at your own thoughts arising, is just how lost in thought we are. And how unhappy it actually makes us. So let us just, you know, take some time to think what it's like to just be us, right? So we sort of feel like this little fellow driving around in our heads, and we're peering out through the lens of our eyes, and we're just always having this internal monologue. And I guess that's what we mean when we call ourselves, like, that is me. And we always feel completely in control of this process, you know. If I want to go, it was totally my choice, you know. If I wanted to feel a certain way, that's how I want to feel. But as we actually look, you know, deeply introspectively, we realise this is an illusion. This cannot be how it actually is. So through these things like mindfulness, when we just look, thoughts just kind of arise. You know, you can't pre-think a thought, they just happen. And it sort of dictates how we act as how we think, right? So if I couldn't afford a waffle cone, my thought process might be something like, ah, shit, I really wanted that waffle cone. Man, it's not fair, I don't make enough money. Man, screw my job. And so on and so forth. But if we could just recognise these are thoughts just arising, it's possible to sort of change the direction of them and you wouldn't be suffering as much. I know that sounds crazy and probably unrealistic, but I mean, I think that's sort of the first steps of spirituality, is when you start to do that, these are the things you recognise. Now, I realise I haven't really had a coherent point for the last 5 minutes. I'm just trying to say that if you really look, you can start to have very insightful insights, there we go again, about the human mind. Like, the character of your own consciousness is fully within your grasp to understand, if you just look. So for all 3 of you that are listening, I have some homework for you. Just try some mindfulness meditation, spend 10 minutes, as much as you can, once, twice a week, whatever, and you will start to notice a change just of how you perceive things. All that waffling I just did might actually make a little bit more sense. And failing that, just get into some tantric.